these cars as we take a look at these Napa standings at the midway point. They've got a lot of them jacked up, and they've got all 4 wheels off the ground, trying to breathe the springs a little here, get a little rest.
Yeah, they're letting the driver rest a little bit. I'm wondering about Joe Nemechek's mother. She must be reloading her camera on this break, because she says she's taking a picture every time her son passes somebody. He's been passing plenty of them.
Best time to get pictures is right now. He's sitting still. All he is blur when he's out there on the racetrack.
I tell you, we've seen her at a lot of races. She really gets enthused about it, and that's nice to have the whole family involved with racing like that.
And speaking of Joe Nemechek, funny you brought up his name. Here's Dick Berg.
Here's a record that probably nobody would like to have, Ken Squire. Today marks the 4th time in a row Joe Nemechek has started 31st, but this thing's running well.
Yes, it's a new car. We ran it at Darlington, and we qualified terrible there. We come here, we changed a lot of stuff on it, and we qualified bad here. But the car, it takes about 3-4 laps for it to get going, and once it gets going, it just keeps getting faster and faster and faster, stays the same. And you know, the Texas Pete Grease Lightning Chevrolet is running real good today. The crew, I mean, we've been struggling since we got here to get the car right. And yesterday, last practice, the car was right. Today, we haven't touched it, haven't turned a bolt on it. Just keep putting tires and gas in it. And I think we have a car that's capable of winning the race, but you got the 2 Fords up in the front that are fast. And hopefully we're going to get the Chevrolet up there to the front.
You must be thinking points. Are you squirming around in that seat as much as your mother is here on pit wall?
No, that's very unfortunate for Todd. I got involved in something like that the last time we were here, and we're just going to keep going forward, and the more positions we can pick up, the better off we're going to be.
They didn't change the car. They're ready to go.
So, there he is, Joe Nemechek, Lakeland, Florida, who one time started out in a little Mazda driving sports cars. Well, maybe I'd like to try a little stock car. Try it he did. He's found himself a home. Joe Nemechek and the rest of the gang will be ready for the second half of the All Pro Auto Parts 300 in just a moment.
All quiet at Charlotte Motor Speedway, but only a matter of moments until they refire about 40 Busch Grand National motors here. We pick up for the second half of today's All Pro Auto Parts 300. Welcome back on WTBS. Good to have you with us today. Rick Benjamin here in the Stanley Pit Communications Center, welcoming Alan Kulwicki, who's the pole sitter for the Mellow Yellow 500 tomorrow here on TBS. Great run Wednesday night.
Thank you very much.
How did it all come about for you? Ran nearly 180 miles an hour here under the lights.
Well, I'll tell you, that was a great lap. I really almost never thought we'd run that fast, at least not here at Charlotte with a stock car this year, but we hit it really right. The car just handled great. The engine ran good, and I think that's 3 of the last 4 races we've put the Hooters Ford Thunderbird on the pole.
It's super tough in the second half of the season. We're going to see now the rest of the starting lineup. You're up front with Kenny Schrader. Do you look for a tough race from him tomorrow?
Oh, I think, you know, there's 20 guys that could win this race, and Kenny's certainly one of them. Behind that, there's Ernie Irvin and Mark Martin. They both qualified real well, and going to be a very competitive race.
Now, you're in the point chase. You're in the top 5 here coming down to the wire. You're not as up front as Bill Elliott and Davey Allison are, but do you think you have a chance?
Well, we still have a chance. Mathematically, we do, and, you know, realistically, Bill's probably got to have one more misfortune for us to catch him, but there's 4 races left, and I think he's lost over 100 points in the last couple of races, so certainly a lot of things could happen in the 4 remaining races. We're not giving up yet. We're going to do our best to win a race or 2 the remainder of this year and finish off on a good note.
Certainly hope you'll do that. Dale Earnhardt will start in row 6 tomorrow. He won here in the spring. Do you expect a good run on him?
Oh, you can never count him out. You never know. He doesn't qualify that great a lot of times, but you can't count him out. He certainly could come back and win tomorrow.
This has really been a Ford season. Davey, Bill, yourself in the top 5 in points. You've won the manufacturer's title. What does that mean to a race team?
Well, you know, it feels good that we could help Ford win their first manufacturer's title in years, and they've got their program pretty well together. Their cylinder heads are pretty good, and that's helped us out a lot. Overall, their whole motorsports program is going well, and we're really pleased to be a part of it.
Lots of folks have been commenting on the Davey and Bill battle for the title. Neither of them seems to want to win it. What does it take, do you think, now to win a Winston Cup title here?
Well, I mean, you've got to be consistent. That's the biggest thing, and you know, Bill's faltered a little bit, but Davey and I haven't been real great the last couple of races either. We've been a little bit better, but if I was really on top of my game, I could have been right in there. But hopefully they'll start racing each other. Something will happen, and they'll look over their shoulder, and we'll be there.
You'll be right in tune with that. We wish you the best tomorrow. Alan Kulwicki, the pole sitter for tomorrow's Mellow Yellow 500 here on TBS. Thanks, Alan. Best of luck, too.
Thank you.
And indeed, one of the guys that gave Ford that championship. First time since, what, 69? Leroy and Cale and all that crowd was storming around.
Yeah, and I'm telling you, it's an accomplishment, too, with Alan owning his own race cars. I remember when he ran the ASA circuit, he moved down here and he got his own race cars. For a guy to be able to have a race team start from scratch and be in contention for the championship and win as much as Alan done, that's quite an accomplishment.
You talk about swings and points. If the race were to stop right now, Joe Nemechek has the lead in the Grand National points by 89 over Todd Bodine. 3 races left to be contested this year. Of course, they're headed off to Rockingham for a great battle there. Martinsville is coming up, and then, of course, they'll end the whole thing when they get to Hickory, North Carolina, November the 8th.
The luck that Todd Bodine had here was really bad. We see the numbers there. When you fall out at Charlotte in a 40-something car field, that's what hurts. He said he was 37th or 38th, whatever it is today. You go to some tracks, they don't start with 30 cars. The worst place it could have happened was right here at Charlotte, and it bit him.
We've just been told that Morgan Shepherd is being penalized a lap for changing shock absorbers in the intermission. He was running 21st. He's not been a real factor today in his car, so that's the latest on Morgan Shepherd. As we get ready to restart, and we're just a few seconds away. 4, 3, 2, 1, detonate. We're ready to crank him out one more time. Mark Martins, number 60. Here you are on board the car that's leading the event. Jeff Gordon, second. Terry Labonte, third. Ken Schrader, fourth. Michael Waltrip, fifth. Harry Gant in sixth. Joe Nemechek, seventh. Darrell Waltrip, eighth. Followed by Kenny Wallace, and 10th is Phil Parsons.
We see him having to push his car. He said he didn't have a clutch. And so what Mark's going to have to do, he's got the engine running, warmed it up. He'll probably turn the motor. He just turned the engine back off. He'll put it in gear, let him push, and you'll see him reach over and hit the switch. They used to see he'll hit the switch as they're pushing, and he'll crank it at the same time. So he said no problem. He's trying to take light. He does have a problem, but he can live with it.
He's back on about 5 manpower right now, trying to get this thing fired up.
Got a NASCAR official helping there. It looks like it's hung in 2 different gears. That's exactly what it did. They were going to have to push the car off. When you see one rocking like that and it won't move, he can't put the clutch in, and it's probably hung in 2 different gears.
Stuck
it wouldn't
between.
move. Yep, they'll have to jack it up, reach up under the car, and put it back in. They'll probably just stick it in 4th gear.
Well, there you see the former national champion, Chuck Bown, wheeling around and coming out. He's running a lap down, and everybody going by.
The question here now, Ken, you know, he was leading on this thing, and these caution laps did not count here. The question is, can he lose a lap sitting on pit road?
Exactly. That's the issue, and we need to find that out on pit road.
Just overheard the official. He said, we'll get a record, give it a push. So it must not be hung in 2 gears. It must just be so difficult they can't push it off. They're going to get a record, give him a push, it said.
Well, let's go down to the experts who were in the driver's meeting this morning, see if we can get a word as to what might happen to Martin if they get him fired up and put him back out there. Here's Dick Berger.
Well, unfortunately, that's one of the subjects they did not cover in the driver's meeting this morning. One of the things. He's off finally. Mark Martin has had such a tough time here. Recall in the spring, he led most of this event and got about to lap 92, and the engine wound up in a whole bunch of pieces. So finishing has been his tough deal here at Charlotte Motor Speedway.
Well, he's not wasting any time finding his way back to the front of the field.
Let me tell you, this is going to be a tricky deal. He's going to start from the very front of the field.
But Fred has told me.
And when you feed that thing into gear, you've got to get the engine RPM and the drivetrain at the same speed. He's going to be on the start of this race, and if you miss it, you almost got to restart over again. So, you know, he's going to have to make sure he gets that thing in gear on the start. It's not as easy as Mark says. He's just real good at it.
He was trying to deflect some of the problem for the moment. Everything's fine. You saw how fine it was as they tried to crank it up and bring it out.
Yeah, but let me tell you, there's a lot of drivers around that would really let that bother, that they would say, man, my car won't do this, it won't do that. But Mark is positive-minded enough and looks far enough ahead. He said, let's get that thing behind us, we can still win the race.
Is that part of physical attitude, mental attitude, all that stuff? I mean, he is so into bodybuilding these days and getting his mind focused to overcome any problem. He's built about like Alan Kowicki. He has worked out so much. He's a tough-looking guy these days, and his thinking follows in that same direction.
Yeah, but I think before, when he first came in here, he couldn't go 500 miles. He'd get tired. I think he's got his physical side so well prepared now that he puts that aside and mentally can concentrate exactly what he wants to do in that race car.
Tell you what, gentlemen, the bottom line is why everybody pushed that car off. Speaking of Mark Martin's crew, if a wrecker came up and pushed it, they would have had to go to the rear of the field. So They did everything they possibly could to get that car started, and they started it in 3rd gear.
So there you got it. Thank you, Randy. There are the leaders getting sorted out on a restart. Lap cars pulling up on the outside. Field getting ready for a start. Now they are already showing 103 complete. These are counting laps as we get ready to go once again with Mark Martin out in front, leading in first place. Been a while since he's had a victory. Second is Jeff Gordon. Ford's first and second. And in third, it's Terry Labonte in that Oldsmobile. Fourth is Ken Schrader in the Chevrolet. And fifth is Michael Waldrop, Pontiac.
Here we are inside the car, Ken. We're going to see if he does have a problem. With this shot here, we'll get a good opportunity to see him shift going up through the gears. Here are restarting. He was in second. He just put it up into third gear. There he goes. He's going to pull it back from third to fourth. Winding that little motor up down through there. Put it in fourth gear. He made the shift without a problem.
He's clear. He is away. Chuck Bound up on the outside trying to get a lap back in car number 63, running 20. When they come by, they'll complete 105 this time. $392,000 at stake. Jeff Gordon's number 1 is in second place. The lap car of Presley, number 59, down at least 3, maybe 4.
Presley's down several laps, but it looks like they have improved on it. Whatever gave them trouble earlier, they must have corrected a good bit of that problem.
Martin's last win, 1990, Myrtle Beach. Took the lead on the very final lap when Tommy Ellis ran out of luck, ran out of gas. With Hut Strickland in traffic, running in 21st.
Started trying to get down low. He ran up on a car, the 72 car of Leslie, the red car. You see move outside.
That Powell right in front of him.
Yeah, he's pinned in right there. So he's trying to get around Powell on the outside now.
27th spot he's in. 27th. Correction. 27th. He's got some running to do. Back up front. Here you see number 60. The Winn-Dixie car of Mark Martin with the advantage. Jeff Gordon lies second. He's drafting off the back of the former Grand National champion Chuck Bound.
Yeah, Jeff Gordon's trying to get around Chuck Bound now. He's going to get back up in the second place there. He's in second, but he needs to clear this lap car. See if he can make a run on Martin. Jeff made a change on his car to try to make it better. We saw Mark Martin say they didn't change anything. They were pleased with. Here's Jeff Gordon getting under Chuck Bound right now. So they give him a clean shot at the leader.
1990 Grand National champion ease is over. Not been a good year for Chuck Bound. Still in there running strong, but not getting those wins like he did a year or two back. 18 cars in the lead lap on board.
Well, gentlemen, if you keep watching the temperature gauge in Hut Strickland's car from the in-car camera, you'll notice that it's going to go up here from time to time. That's because right before the halftime break, Hut radioed in and said the temperature's gone way up in the car. They did have a little damage. They put about 2 rolls of duct tape on the front of the automobile. There's just one small hole for air to come in to keep that engine cool. So we'll keep an eye on Hut Strickland and see if that car overheats.
Nothing overheating up in front. Mark Martin running smooth and fast. Small transmission problem, and here's Bobby Hillen bringing the 28 on pit road. Running at 19th spot as it came in.
Raise the hood on the car. When you see them jump over without the tires, some kind of problem on the motor, and they're going in and see if they can correct it.
Getting a lap for you here, or rather getting a pit stop for you, which let's see what they're going to. They're going to go down a lap right now. They are down a lap. He's away in 16-1 after trying to check out what the problem was.
Usually when you have probably got a miss in the car and you raise the hood just to see if there's a plug wire, something real obvious that can be corrected. It's not something just laying there that you can correct. You just send them on out to ride the race out. So they either found the plug wire and put it on, or they just gave up on it real quick, let it go.
See that number 60? See how well it's running? See how luck goes at Charlotte? He's just radioed into his crew. Thinks his battery is going bad.
Well, let me tell you, a while ago when they tried to crank it, I was concerned. He tried to crank it with it in gear. You reach over and hit the starter button and let it pull itself off. and it wasn't capable of doing it. You can actually crank one of these cars with it in gear, just hit the starter and it'll pull itself off and fire off. And he must have been a little weak on fire, and he can see it with the amp gauge just not coming back for him. The biggest thing that hurts in these motors is they have such high energy ignition systems in them. And when the ignition, the battery gets low, it doesn't fire right, the motor starts detonating a little bit or fouling plugs out, so he can feel it in the engine if he's starting to lose a little bit of electrical power.
And guess who's catching up? Number 1, Gordon, is right there, the pole sitter. Eases up on Mark Martin.
Did you sense it in Jeff Gordon's voice a while ago when he talked to him? He said, Mark sure has run a long time today. Everybody knows that Mark's car's been real fast, and they question the reliability. And Jeff Gordon was even saying, hey, here's a big spin coming off the 4th turn. Right behind this, we've got cars coming through.
That's Shauna Robinson going all the way around, does a 360. There is caution on the track. Tommy Houston made an evasive move down through the grass. Kept it straight.
Butch Miller went down pit road at about 140. He broke the speed limit, but he couldn't help it.
He did the right thing. He would have collected her for sure. Shauna Robinson, coming out of turn 4, got it loose and spun it around. So Mark Martin crossing the line here.
Mark Martin.
Everybody stepped off the throttle real quick with trouble up here in 4. You don't want to take any chances until you need to out here at the Charlotte Motor Speedway, and particularly when there's any note of incidents in turn 4. Let's take a look at what happened to number 25, Shauna Robinson.
We see right there she's already turned around backwards coming off the 4th turn. And watch here, she's going to back up. Watch the 75 car right in the middle of smoke. He's going to turn down pit road. The blue and white car turns down pit road. Those 2 cars were the inside. He goes, 6 goes right up through the grass. Shauna, excuse me, Shauna turns around, gets the car corrected, didn't get back out in traffic. Did a good job right there. There she is spinning all the way off the 4th turn. Lucky he didn't get up in the middle of that traffic.
Back with more from the Charlotte Motor Speedway in a moment. ...116 laps are now complete of 200 to be run in the 300-mile race, 200-lap event here today. Mark Martin is first, Gordon second, Schrader third, Michael Waltrip fourth, followed by Terry Labonte, Darrell Waltrip, Phil Parsons back in 7th, and Harry Gant. In 9th, Joe Nemechek. In 10th, Bobby Labonte. 11th, Kenny Wallace. In 12th is Jimmy Spencer. 13th, Tracy Leslie. And 14th is Resendez. 15th spot will be Tom Peck as we get ready for a restart. Here's Ramsey Pemberton.
Well, we're down here in the 60 pit of Mark Martin, and they're really in a big dilemma as to whether or not to change the battery. Mark's losing power in the Winn-Dixie Ford, but the problem is it takes a lot more time to change the batteries in this car for some reason than it would a Winston Cup car. They desperately want to change it, but they don't want to go a lap down, and Mark does not have a voltage meter in the car, so they don't know exactly if they're losing power, but Mark said it certainly feels funny.
Well, I tell you, they've got the batteries in those things right in front of the left rear tires. And in a Winston Cup car, as many races they run, they try to get it where it's accessible. In this Busch car, they might not have as easy an access to get the battery out of the car, so he's probably just going to have to ride it out.
17 cars in the lead lap. Chuck Bound, 1 lap down, pulls up on the outside, the 18th position, hoping to get a clean shot to get his lap back here. At 118, they are into 117 now. They'll get that indicator to send them on their way. If you're just joining us, we've had 6 caution periods. A major crash in the first half of the race has entirely inverted the point standing battle. Todd Bodine, who came in here leading by 5, if the race were to finish now, trailed by about 89 points, crashed hard in turn 2 with Dale Jarrett. Both escaped unscathed. Not the case with Jeff Burton, who crashed in turn 2 and walked away from the car, but very gingerly. Looked like he'd hurt his right ankle. We took him over to the field hospital. We've not had an update on that, but he did clamber out of the car. Well, here's Mark Martin in the Winn-Dixie number 60. Fords are running 1 and 2. Chevy out there in 3rd. Oldsmobile 4th. Chevy in 5th. Getting set for a start. First Pontiac is back in 6th with Kenny Wallace now. Correction in 7th. And as they come down, the number 60 can't get it ranked. Everybody getting around it.
barely. He almost got hit.
Wild start.
Well, that's what you're concerned about, having a problem. You know, it must have been some, Mark was feeling something. He said it just didn't feel right. And he was exactly right. I don't know what the problem, but he couldn't get it going.
Batesville, Arkansas. We want to look at that one again. Let me tell you, what a moment. Coming down out of turn number 4, trying to get it worked up. And he almost got center punched and drop kicked by the entire field. And they drove well and got around it. Jeff Gordon stays first. Normal speed. Here's what it looked like, Neil.
We know Mark's sitting in second gear. That's the way he's restarted every race. He's got in second. They throw the flag, and everybody takes off, and Mark doesn't go. I don't think it was the clutch so much as he just couldn't get the car to speed. Watch these cars splitting around him. The yellow car right there is the one that came so close right there. It almost clipped him as it came by.
Team Fedua, that guy that almost caught him.
We're told, gentlemen, that the problem in the Mark Martin car is that his transmission let go when he tried to come up through the gears. Not an electrical problem. We'll see what happens on pit road.
Boy, that's a shame. You know, he's having to work it without a clutch, and you kind of jerk it in gear, and I guess the thing went out on him. And boy, as good as that car's running, Mark's going to be disheartened.
On to pit road. 28 Bobby Hillin is just pulling back out. He's going a lap down. Here's the number 60 easing on in. Meanwhile, on the Speedway, battle for third. Terry Labonte, number 14. Waltrip, 17. Nemechek getting back into this thing. Up in the second is Schrader. The 63 sliding back through the field again. Chuck Bound. Darrell Waltrip to fourth. Labonte is third. Schrader is second, and the leader is Gordon. Joe Nemechek now to fifth. With the leader, Jeff Gordon, coming around to complete lap 122.
Something Gordon's got to be concerned with now. Schrader will come into the shot right here. Schrader is gaining on Jeff Gordon, and earlier in the race, Schrader was able to get right behind Jeff Gordon, and Jeff said it made his car loose, and he kind of let Schrader go on. So now he's going to have to continue with Schrader up there, start messing with him and trying to get his car loosened up. Schrader going to see if he can work on him, put some pressure on the one car, and be able to pass him.
Gordon first, Chevy in second spot. There you see it, the 15, Oldsmobile in third. Jeff Gordon won here in May. What are his chances today of sweeping the Charlotte Busch Grand National 1992 events?
There's a lot more things that involve winning a race, and it's not just going fast. It's being lucky, having good pit stops, and being consistent all day long. But right now, the car feels great. The motor's running good. Everything's going our way so far.
Let's get to Randy Pembert.
Mark Martin's sticking something back in the car. Mark, man, you just can't buy a break, can you?
Nah, ain't good, though. We're going to win a race with this Winn-Dixie car before it's over with. Thought it was going to be today, maybe, but I don't know. That halfway point is just unbelievable. I've lost an engine 3 times. 3 races I had shots to win, and now this happened. I don't know. It's just something about it. Coming in, stopping, and the old car just don't want to go again. I don't know what it is.
Well, we can put this day aside. Tomorrow you're sitting pretty with the Valvoline Ford. You got a good shot at the Milliola 500 on Sunday.
I don't know if we'll win or not, but we'll be just about as fast. And that don't guarantee any kind of results.
Good luck tomorrow, Mark.
Thanks. We got a great team and 2 good teams here. We're just going to go get them.
I tell you what, that's a good feeling to climb out of one that's been leading all day, and knowing tomorrow you can climb in another one that's got just as good a chance to win on Sunday's race. So you tell he's disheartened, but he's livened right back up when he got to thinking about tomorrow.
About a second between first and second. Here comes Jimmy Spencer in 7th spot, going under Joe Nemechek. Nemechek falling to 6th. Labonte has come up to 5th. Now Spencer takes over in 6th. Nemechek back to 7th. Kenny Wallace checks out at 8th. But here comes Spencer. We've got a car in the wall in turn 4. Johnny Robinson does it again. Lost it up there on the bumps, and car number 99, Ricky Craven, taking evasive action, came down pit road at about 140 miles an hour. A little over that 55-mile limit, but again, the right thing to do, or he'd have been right through the side of car number 25.
Shauna, she turned down pit road. She's got a flat right where she's going on back in the garage area.
Car number 25 under its own power back in the garage area. after a second spin here today, and this too in turn number 4.
It's 2 spins virtually in the same place. Boy, she's lucky both times. This time I saw her when she looped the car. Luckily enough, it stayed on the bottom again. See if we can get a shot of here. She's already broken loose. Car's headed out to the outside wall. Backs right up against the wall, but watch the traffic coming by. Then she comes back across the track. Missed the traffic on that side. Then she turns the car back left and keeps it. Before she did the same thing where it went back out. See that car go by? She'd let it get away from her up that top of that track. She'd get hit again. When she lost it, she held it to the inside.
Running 25th. One that got loose up here in turn number 4 and brought out the 7th caution of the day. As far a total of 26 laps under caution. 10 cars have retired from the original 42 that started. For the moment, Jeff Gordon in the Baby Ruth car stays in the lead. And he's coming on pit road now. Jeff Gordon has led something like 1,000 laps this year. Here he is on pit road. Right behind him comes Schrader, staying out on the track. Chuck Bound hoping to get the shot at getting that lap back. And Hunt Strickland stays out. Jimmy Spencer's there. Parsons.
We saw Labonte come in, didn't do anything but fill it up with fuel. Here's Labonte. Look like he's going the same route. Just stick a little bit of gas in it and get back on the racetrack. Not even change the tires.
Bobby Labonte back underway. Had that great year in 1991.
They're pretty close to the point they can where they might be able to go the rest of the way there. That's what they're looking at, trying to
128
get
of 200 laps complete on this 1.5 mile track.
You see just about everybody down pit road. You see a couple of them put tires on, but most of the guys just took on fuel. You see Kenny Wallace, first car, we see the tires they just took off his car, so he did put tires on his.
So Bound, hoping again to get back up on that front row and get a run at these guys. We'll start on the outside of that lead row. We come down for a restart in just a moment. Join Gary Bender and Pat Hayden for Sunday night NFL on TNT as the Rams travel to the Superdome to take on their divisional rivals, the Saints. Hard-hitting action starts at 7:30 Eastern tomorrow night on TNT. On TBS tomorrow at 1 o'clock, we'll be with you for the 500-mile Winston Cup race. Here are the standings after 130 of 200 laps are complete. That's 105 miles to go. No problem on fuel. They can hit it from here with Jimmy Spencer leading, Phil Parsons in second, Gant in third, Labonte, Bobby Labonte, Dave Resendez, and that number 79 out of Massachusetts up there in fifth, getting ready for a go. And where are those guys that were up in front? Well, Jeff Gordon, he's a little further back. He'll be in the 7th position, they say, in the start. Waltrip and also Schrader is well back in this field. They got him listed 15th as we get ready for a go. Joe Nemechek is now in 12th. Michael Waltrip is in 9th. Kenny Wallace is in 13th position out there on the field. Showing 16 cars in the lead lap. We'll take you through it just a bit as they come down. Spencer first, Parsons second, Gant, Labonte, Bobby, Terry first, then Bobby. Dave Resendez sixth, Gordon seventh, Waltrip eighth, Michael Waltrip ninth. Two of the brothers running a combo out here. In 10th, Tom Peck. 11th, Tracy Leslie. Tom Peck does a good job. He doesn't get enough of the ball. Nemechek in 12th, Wallace in 13th as they break away. There's Jimmy Spencer bearing down, and on the outside.
Look at Gant. Look at Gant down the inside. There he is.
Here's Bound trying to find some way to get around. He stays out there. 63 hanging it up on the outside in turn 4, trying to get through.
Shuffle on that start. I thought Gant was able to take the lead. He got down the inside and got caught with Chuck Bound just a little bit, but Gant's really putting the heat on Spencer right now. Spencer's the kind of guy, if you get him out front, it's hard to take the lead away from him.
First and second down the back straightaway. Mr. Excitement, Jimmy Spencer, says having Winston Cup drivers in today's field makes for a better race.
I
enjoy racing against the Winston Cup drivers because they're going to push you to the limit no matter what. Whether you're leading a race or you're running 10th and you're racing them for 9th. It's that hard. And, you know, I think the one thing about the Winston Cup drivers, they're not out there to push or shove anybody. They're out there to do the best they can, what they got, and come home with a win if they can.
Driving for Junie Donlevy in 1993 in Winston Cup again, Jimmy Spencer.
Seems kind of unique, saying Spencer said take the Winston Cup driver, put him to the limit. He stays to the limit all the time.
Look at Parsons staying right in there, hooked up real strong in that number 29 car. And in the 7, Mac 2 car trying to work under the first aid number 20. Jimmy Spencer in the lead, 1 car length advantage. And here comes Terry Labonte making it a foursome for the lead. Labonte just back there in 5th.
Those 6-cylinders sound like buzzsaws down that back straightaway. They turn them so much RPM on a big track like this. It's amazing they stay together.
A 170-mile-per-hour chainsaw dance coming down the main straightaway at Charlotte. And here comes Parsons on the inside, getting beneath Harry Gant. It's Phil Parsons making a surprising move going into turn number 1. He's going to take 2nd place away from Gant. And also coming up is the 14. Here's Terry Labonte on the inside of Gant. Let's go down and talk to that Terry Labonte pit.
Ken, Terry Labonte can take an awful lot of pride in running in 3rd spot at the moment. He started in 36, so that's a lot of cars to pass. But unlike the majority of competitors running up front today, Terry Labonte has done his own work. He's had his own wrenches in hand. This is his own car. He did his own setup, and he's doing his own driving. With his crew chief, Pete Wright. Pete, can you guys win this thing today?
Yeah, the M&W Wonder Chevrolet, you know, it's running awful good. He stickled with it. We didn't make no changes during that little break. And all we did was put 4 tires on it. We're just going to have to, we done stopped and got our fuel and everything, so we're just going to have to get up there and scrounge with them and try to win this thing.
And they have enough fuel to go all the way to the end, Ken. They don't need any more stops.
Lead battle. Spencer there. Parsons has his eye on 1st place in car number 29.
You know, at the top of the show, Phil Parsons said he wanted to kind of jumpstart his career, get it going again. He was in Winston Cup racing and all, and then he moved back. He's run some Busch stuff, and the win today certainly gives him a big boost.
One lonely Grand National victory back in 1982 at Bristol, Tennessee. The Matchbox, White Roses Oldsmobile for Denver, North Carolina, and Detroit's Phil Parsons. Looking good. Here it comes, bottom of the racetrack, through there. Now let's see if it'll hold going into turn 1. Got it.
Drove right on past Spencer. His car's worked well all day. He keeps working himself to the front. Last set of pit stops, he just put fuel in the car. Looks like he's in real good shape right now.
From 15th position, Phil Parsons into the lead at lap 138. Back in 3rd is Terry Labonte. Harry Gant is in 4th. Jeff Gordon is in 5th. Side Gordon is Hutch Strickland, but he's a lap down. Bobby Labonte is in 6th. Resendez now lies 7th, and Michael Waltrip is in 8th. There's the interval between 1st and 2nd. Spencer, number 20, is your 2nd place car. And closing rapidly is car number 14. Here's Terry Labonte getting back in this one. Darrell Waltrip off the pace and on pit road. The 17 car of Waltrip having some problems and coming in.
See if they go under the hood. Yep, under the
10th position. Here's Dick Burton.
Well, they thought earlier they might have lost a cylinder, decided they did not. Now, Ken, they're convinced they have lost a cylinder. They're under the hood looking for the problem, hoping to resolve it simply. It does not look good. Darrell Waltrip has just gone a lap down.
20 and 14 battling for 2nd spot. Here's Terry Labonte on the move on the inside of Jimmy Spencer. Terry Labonte down the inside. Lap 141. Terry Labonte up into 2nd spot. Phil Parsons is your leader. Well, what a revolution this race is. Parsons out in front and crawling away. 28-second pit stop. McDonald's quick pit update.
There comes Jeff Gordon. Move into the inside of Spencer off the fourth turn. Jeff is coming way back in the back. This restart been picking them off one at a time, and he's fixing to move up into third place.
Got it. In fourth, Spencer. Fifth, Gant. Sixth, Bobby Labonte. Seventh, Resendez. Nemechek still lies in 10th. 142 laps are complete. All Pro Auto Parts 300, Charlotte Motor Speedway, live this Saturday afternoon here on TBS. Tomorrow at 1 o'clock, join us for the running of the 500, the Mellow Yellow 500. Here comes Gant to the inside after starting 22nd. Harry Gant working underneath Jimmy Spencer for fourth place at turn 1. Got himself a fair advantage at the present time. How about 1 4/10 of a second between the number 29 and the number 1, Parsons and Gordon?
I think that's the key, Ken. The number 1 just went by Phil Parsons and just drove away. He ran him down from 8 car lengths back. The 1 car of Jeff Gordon, no doubt, is the quickest thing on the track now. He's trying to reel in Phil, the lead car of Phil Parsons. I'm sorry, just passed the line.
First to second is now just 1 second, so he is reeling him in.
Oh yeah, it's just, boy, when you see it, it's just real obvious how fast he's winding him in.
Here is Parsons leading the race by just about a second as he comes across, having completed 145 laps. The second place car is the number 1, Gordon. And here is Gordon, and you see that he's cut it down. It's like a half second now. Then it's Terry Labonte lying third. Gant is in fourth. Bobby Labonte is in fifth. Michael Waltrip sixth. Jimmy Spencer lying seventh. Tracy Leslie eighth. Resendez, Schrader, Nemechek back to 11th. Kenny Wallace in 12th. Fine race for Parsons. And the first one he's led since 1984.
Jeff Gordon crawling all over the back of the 29 car. Watch him turn that thing down. Watch this thing up the back straightaway. His car really got a lot of power.
Oldsmobile on the outside, four to the inside, going to turn number 3. Gordon dives down into the bottom. He's got it. It's 21-year-old Jeff Gordon out of Pittsburgh, Indiana, taking the lead from Phil Parsons. Here they come down off that rocky turn number 4 where you dance that car through at 170 miles an hour. And it remains Jeff Gordon out in front, Phil Parsons in second. Here's Labonte in third spot. Harry Gant is in fourth. 147 laps now complete. Cars can make it on the fuel they have. Jeff Gordon out in front. He's not won since his triumph right here at Charlotte in May. He leads by 10 car lengths coming out of turn 4 this time by. Got him covered and pulling away, Neil.
Yeah, you know, he won in Atlanta at the end of the season. He runs good on these big racetracks. This place in Atlanta, real similar. He's been real strong on these big racetracks.
How good is he?
How good is he?
Yeah.
He's making the right move. He's at 21 years old. It's hard to imagine somebody going into Winston Cup with the victories and the knowledge he has behind him. He's winning everything he's ever been in. And he started when he was 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old racing. So he's a 21-year-old veteran.
The action continues. We come to 150 laps. 21-year-old Jeff Gordon out in front in the All-Pro Auto Parts 300. Darrell Waltrip on pit road. He was one of the 4 drivers in this field today that was here for the inaugural race of this type back in 1973, this Saturday, prelude to the 500. Tommy Houston, Morgan Shepherd, Harry Gant, they were part of that crowd. Look at this battle. This is for 4th. Harry Gant, number 7, lies 4th. Trying to take it away. Bobby Labonte in that Chevy, number 44. And right behind him, Michael Waltrip. In the 6th position, dives down to the inside. Here comes the 44, and Gant, you can see that car shudder for a moment. Slides up to the outside at about 170. Whoa!
That's what we were talking about. This track's getting where the high speed the draft enters into it. You stick the nose up under a guy in front of you, you send him sailing and loosen Gant's car, and he had to chase it up the racetrack.
Explain how that happens. You saw it, but you don't believe it.
Well, the guy running along there is okay until someone gets directly behind you. That spoiler on the rear of the car, actually, that blade shoved